everywhere. You have to sit down and
Hello, welcome. My name is Obeng Darko. Welcome. Subscribe to this channel, share the channel with your friends and the family. Today I want to share with you when the economy is tough, when the economy is difficult. What can you do as a business owner? What can you do as an entrepreneur? Most often, many of us would not expect that the economies of the economy of our country will shift that quickly. But this year, 2022, it has not been that good with our economy, especially being an economy that imports a lot of these things from almost every country, especially China, and the dollar becomes strong against our currency. Things will go not so well, and the economy is in the hands of some politicians and political leadership, and their decisions, one way or the other, affect us. And so, for the last 3 months, the city has not been that well, and buying power, people's ability to buy, has been weakened a bit, and cost of living has gone up, inflation has gone up, and so what do we do? I would say that when things of this sort happen, they happen to almost everybody. Very few people will not be affected by it in terms of business. Businesses that are dependent on importation, businesses that would have to change dollar to bring the things that they sell to the people, especially when your customers' income have not gone up and the cost of living has gone up, which means that the ability to spend money on things that are not so much crucially important to them will go down. And so the mere understanding that this is not just affecting you and is almost everybody should keep you calm and should keep you hopeful and patient. You should not so much worry. Some people will worry. I have calls from young men say that my capital is almost gone. I met a friend of mine who imports air conditions and air conditioners and electronic gadgets, and says that let's farm in my village. I'm trying to buy a land and start to farm and produce some farm produce, and I think that is a good option. If you're in a business now that your capital is being decimated, is being destroyed, because every time you go and come back, the prices have shot up, and the dollar has also, the city has also gone up. It will not be good. You can easily lose your money if you're not getting a lot of if you're not involved in a lot of the local production. And so I would say that it is a tough time for most business people. But what we also have to understand is that the structure of economy, there should be a way that we cannot be an economy that is dependent on almost everybody but us. I think that what is even helping us is the fact that many of our people would depend on foodstuffs that are produced locally. The banche, the mankeni, the bayere, those are helping us. If we were solely feeding on things that are mainly imported, then that would have been disastrous. So you try. The other thing is how do you improvise? How do you become innovative, become creative in terms of your business, in terms of the things that you can do to get more income? What services can you offer? What products can you sell that can be sourced locally? I think that it should be the way forward. But friend, has just had a contract because the main producer, which was importing a lot of their raw materials from other countries, have started to look within. They said that listen, we were producing this, we were importing this from this country, but now it's almost unsustainable, so we cannot change a lot of the city to buy, to bring this, and so we want to look at you processing some of these things locally for us. These businesses, big businesses, are thinking of what can we do to source some of these things locally, and that has created a business for my friend. So when things are that much difficult, because we are where we are mainly because of a high level of importation, which means that if you look within, whether it's at your personal level or even as a company level or even as a country, if you look within, then a lot of the things can be sustained. So they are saying that, can you mail this product for us here instead of us to bring them locally? So look at options, look at things that you can do. your businesses, the things that you can add value and sell locally or even export will be the way forward. And if you have to bring everything and sell them directly, you'll be affected. If you go to some of these Lebanese who are selling computers, they are not even keeping the prices in the city anymore. They don't even put the tax on the product now, because they are saying that the dollar is changing every minute, and therefore they have to also update their prices accordingly. Now the thing about it is that in as much as they are updating their prices accordingly, they are also going to be affected, because then people's ability to buy at this rate will be that difficult. So maybe you can keep your whatever you can keep, but then you are not going to get the sales, you are not going to get the expected income that you used to have, because it's hit everybody. So if I had to buy the camera, let's say 2,000 cedis last 3 years, and now the camera is 4,000 cedis, not many people are going to have that kind of money to buy in the numbers that you've been getting. So it's going to affect all of us. And I think that most Ghanaians, for instance, our business, we have not increased a lot of the things as the increase in the materials. We have feeling for our people, but most of these foreigners have no feeling for us at all. It in a minute, because for them it's about money, and they have no feeling or no sympathy for most of us. And that's why the economy must not depend on foreigners, because when things are very difficult, they have no feeling. And if they see that it can't work, they will move out. They will move out the next minute. And so I say that look locally, improvise. Look at maybe before, if you're not paying attention, before if some things were not so much structured for you, were not regimented for you, now is the time to pay attention. If you were wasteful before, now you cannot be wasteful. Now you have to be very tough on yourself in terms of your budget. Household budget, personal budget, business budget. You have to be stringent. You have to be straight on yourself. This is the time to pay attention and say that I have 1,000 for the household. These are the things that we are going to spend on. I have this 5,000 for the salaries. This is what we are going to focus on. You have to also talk to your workers to say that this is not the time to play games. This is not the time to steal product. This is not the time to steal money. This is not the time to come late. This is not the time to try to close early. This is the time that we all have to sacrifice. And the thing about it is that in as much as sales may have been affected a bit, cost of living has gone up for your workers as well. So you are looking at surviving. You are the survivor state, but you still have to look at what can you do to make things a bit more comfortable. Which means that in as much as cost of living has gone up, you also have to increase the salary one way or the other, so that they can also be happy and they will not have to cry coming to work. And we all have to understand that is a stage that we will pass. It is not going to be at this stage forever. Whatever be the case, we will come through this stage and to the next stage. And this is the stage to learn, to study your business, to study yourself, and to be more regimented, and to be more disciplined, and not to be so much wasteful, and also innovate and look for inner solutions, look for local solutions as well. And that is what we are trying to do. If the construction is being affected, which yes, iron rods prices have gone up, cement prices have gone up, a lot of things have gone up, even the equipment that you use, the cement, the sand that we even buy, because fuel prices have gone up, so cement prices have gone up, almost everything has gone up. And therefore if you have to be you have to pay attention and look at the kind of money that you're spending for any project to complete, which means that the last 2 years, if you could use let's say 500,000 to complete a specific project, now you're going to use maybe 800,000 or $1 million to complete that. Which means that if you can see where the money is coming from, then you may have to slow down. You may have to be careful so that you don't get hung on the way. The other thing is that you have to separate yourself from the difficulties and from the challenges. Some people naturally worry a bit, or worry and become so much afraid. I don't think this is the time to be afraid. This is the time to take each day at a time, and to stay optimistic, stay positive, and be more open-minded, and provide the leadership that your team needs, and be more confident as well, and be more accommodating, and look at ways that you can increase income, revenue? What other businesses, what other activities can you add to make sure that you can survive at this stage? Maybe we should give ourselves the next year, the next 2 years, and see how things will come up. But we as a country, we as a continent must look to the solutions from our level. The way the global market and the global financial architecture is structured, it's built on debt for most of the countries. Africa's economy is not built on debt, so it's except our governments who don't understand this, who still continue to look at solutions from IMF and all these organizations. And so long as they look up to these organizations, then every now and then we'll be hit like that, because any little mistake that they make will affect us. Any little error that they commit will affect almost everything. Because you cannot build an economy where you are depending on importing everything. You are depending on when the dollar goes anywhere, then majority of your businesses are going to struggle. I don't think that is the way that we have to structure our economy, and we must know that this kind of things work in favor of those whose money is the dollar, not us. Those whose money, what we call the hard currency, as if our currency is not currency. So we have to look at what can we do to make sure you cannot be dependent on somebody all the time and think that you develop. If you're really independent, then at least the things that you eat, the things that you drink, the things that you feed on, the things where you sleep, many of the things that we can produce, we should be able to use the ones that we produce and produce them. Some people talk of quality. This is not the time to talk about quality. This is the time to talk about what can we produce ourselves for our people to use. And if you produce and our people are not using, then how are you going to progress? And I don't think that food, chicken, meat, those things should be imported. And so long as we think that those are businesses for some people, then every now and then it will be like a cycle. We'll create some level of prosperity, and somebody's little mistake can bring almost everything to square one. And that is not the way forward. And so I think that we must pay attention that this is a trap, that so long as we continue to look at importation and bring, and as if the banche, the cocoyam, the bayre, the bordier, the maize, all those, as if they are not important. And you as a young man, you as a young woman, the next generation, we should pay attention. What is it that the prosperity, if we want to create sustainable prosperity, that we must provide a lot, we must produce a lot of things that we use ourselves. Our businesses must target that. The critical needs that we need, the things that we need, must be the things that a lot of our people are focused on producing. The clothes, the drinks, the books, the pencils, the pomade, all the things that we need, we should be paying attention to them. And those are the areas that a lot of our young entrepreneurs should focus on. At least the things from our farms, the food, we should be looking at how how do we produce these things ourselves. And so long as we are not producing the things that we need to survive as human beings, then we are the mercies of those who produce them. And every now and then the things will go as we are seeing. So no matter the level of your business, you'll be affected. And we need strong leadership. We need strong leadership to provide a way out for us. So my name is Kwabena Darko. Today I'm talking about when the economy is tough. And I'm saying that if it's tough, it's not only tough for you, it's almost tough for everybody. And so just take it as a phase and keep your head up, keep your confidence up, be positive, be optimistic. In spite of all this, people are going to eat, people are going to drink, people are still going to party, people are going to go to church. A lot of the things that people need to live, they are going to buy them. The only thing is that the demand may go down, or the money that they are going to use to buy these things may go down, but you can still survive if you pay attention. This is the time to pay attention to the things that you do in your business. Pay attention. If anybody is stealing from the business, any little mishap, any little thing that anybody does against the business can have great impact on you in this stage, because now the allowance is not that much. You're spending so much, and yet what is coming in may not be that much. You're spending so much on the project, you're spending so much in the shop, you're spending so much on the factory, the electricity may have gone up, the fuel maintenance cost may go up, almost everything may go up. So this is the time to pay attention and provide maybe some budget, some regimens, some things, some structures to keep things going. and not to be so much worried. And if the time that you owe, you may have to pay attention and talk to your people, the people that you want to tell them that, listen, it's tough, but I'm going to keep my word, and have some kind of agreement with them, and see what you can do more. What areas that seem to be working for you? What are the activities? What are the products that seem to be working for you? That you're making some level of profit, some level of margins. Those areas, pay attention and probably expand and grow those areas that are working for you. The areas that are working for you, that are profitable. Those areas that you keep losing, look at how you can minimize or improvise or innovate or do something to make sure that you focus on the things that are working well for you at this stage, and the things that are not so much working well, you look at reducing them. And this is the time to also make people be aware of the things that you do. Make it pronounced. Market, go out, tell people what you do. This is the time to launch out and say that this is what I do. People will still be looking for your services, especially those in services. If maybe you're a mechanic, maybe you're a plumber, maybe you're an electrician, let people know what you do, and maybe if you can reduce the cost so that you can get more to do. And if you're going to get into government contracts, this is the time to pay attention. If you don't have very strong contacts, this is not the time to go and borrow and go and do any contract for any government agency. You have to be very strong, because that you may finish it and you may not get paid. And this is not the time to go and borrow from bank and say that I have a contract I want to. You must be skilled. You really have to know what you're doing. If it's your first project and you're not so much strong in it, that is not the time to try anything of that sort. But whatever is left in your hands, you can build something with it if you pay attention. Whatever is in your hands now, if you pay attention, you can do magic with it. And this is the time to be more committed, to hold your word, and to do extra, and to be frank, and to be hardworking. This is the time to try to build great network, and be appreciative and be thankful of whatever gains that you make. And so I want to say thank you very much for taking your time to watch this. When the economy is tough, this is the time that you have to be tougher. This is the time that you have to raise yourself above the difficulties. No problem is stronger than you if you can build yourself stronger, way above the problem. So thank you very much for taking your time to watch this. Thank you.